Buddy, hey, shut up. Shh, quiet. I'm being too loud. We've snuck once again into the parking lot outside of the Fairmont Crest Country Club here in Washington, D.C. Beyond these gates right here is one of the most politically powerful, rich families and their friends and their quiet enemies and all of that. And we have the code to unlock the gates.
Yes. I'm listening.
George, the security guard. He's ready for us. This week's code is President. Oh, hell no. President.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, President. President Martin? President Martin. What's his last name? He's Dupree. No.
He's Richardson.
Richardson. I don't know last names yet. Hey, everybody. Hey, Keita. Hey, Sandra. Sneak on in with us. President. Oh, hell no. Martin Richardson.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no. Hey, Liz. Hey, how's it going? I don't know. So people are still warming up to Beyond the Gates, Sandra. You know, I'm finding, interestingly enough, we'll just get into the science. Interestingly enough, we did this podcast. First 2 weeks, it was solid. It was solid. Last week, not so solid. So either people watched their 2 weeks and they're like, yes or no, or they don't like us. One of the two things.
We got a big dip.
I wouldn't say that it's a big dip, but last week's was definitely not as much as the week before.
Well, we might be paralleling along with, because of course it's going to have a big swell in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first new soap opera since 1999. Of course, there's going to be a big swell in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Sandra's saying, I'm not caught up yet. I've only seen 3 days so far. I hate the abundance of commercials. People are also still working this into their life.
Sure.
This is 5 hours of television they weren't watching before.
Right.
So, I can understand. Now, when it comes down to it, we have established the stakes. We know who the family is. We know what the stories are. But and they're developing, we're learning more, things are progressing, but I can't say that this show is moving at the same clip that it had been when it started. And of course, it wasn't gonna keep that same pace. But also, it's an opportunity for people to say, am I invested or am I not?
Sure, because when we first came barreling through those gates, it was...
Yeah.
And things have excited a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And we're also new. This is later than we're usually on. Mm-hmm. It's possible that the audience is, a lot of you. We're on the West Coast, so it's 1:30 for us when we start. That's the middle of the afternoon. We had a little bit of lunch and we settle back into this thing. Mm-hmm. Other folks, it's 4, it's 3. Maybe they are out and about. Maybe they are enjoying their Sunday afternoons with their families, because at the end of General Hospital, they tell them to go spend time with them. So,
But at the same time. We are available 24/7. You do not have to watch us live. If you don't watch us live, if you won't have the opportunity to be part of the chat.
No, that's the only difference.
You'll be part of the Beyond the Gates, and your voice is still heard because you can still type up a little message.
Yeah, you can leave a little comment. I read all of those, and I reply to the ones that I think, listen, let's just be real. If you comment on this thing and you're like, I hate this and I hate that and this sucks, I'm not going to reply to that thing. But if you reply with a I think this and I think that, then I'm very likely to be like, wow, what an interesting idea. So, leave a comment. I read them. I respond to them. Check it out. Anyway, so Sandra, it could be the weather. It could be because they're busy. It doesn't really matter. We're here having a good time and hanging out.
Yeah.
Okay. Sandra giving us a launching point. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Getting bad feelings about the slime ball at Bill's office and Cat.
And Cat.
What's contributing to that for you, Sandra? I'm curious to know what moments, what lines, what beats, what stolen looks, and what hesitation of the camera is making you think that.
Remind me, because I forgot already. So, what is the character's name?
It's Mike, I think.
Tomas,
That's what
Tomas. Are you talking about Tomas?
No, I think she's talking about Mike the Creep, right?
Oh, Mike the
The
yeah.
inappropriate flirt at Bill's office, one of his
Oh
law
yeah.
partners. I
Oh
have
yeah.
notes from last week and the week before that I'm
He is
referencing.
totally inappropriate. He's totally inappropriate. Totally. And if Bill wasn't such a slimeball himself, he would get that guy a stepping on out of there.
Yes. Yeah,
But
yeah.
Bill's kind of entertained by the whole thing
He is. He is, because Bill's not a good person.
because Bill's not a good person either.
No, he's
He's
very
like
much
it's good old boy in it with that guy. Hard time,
well,
right?
that's kind of what happens when you're in that echelon of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of forgiveness over the not so good choices that you make out there.
Right.
And there's also like so I've never made the money that these people have, so I can't really relate. But I can understand and empathize, even if it's a negative empathy, with I can't do too much about this because it's going to wreck my money. This person makes these poor choices, but they bring in the money. But
And
they,
and this creepy guy is not stupid enough to be inappropriate with Kat so much, and not with Hayley either.
not overtly,
Not overtly.
not in such a way that it'll catch Bill's attention, because that's starting to kind of tread on areas that he shouldn't.
Right.
You know, but that doesn't mean that it won't at some point. I mean, Bill's got to have something to show the other side of him at some point.
Well, if they show the other side of him at all, it'll be he's got to come to the aid of somebody. Gotta come to the aid of-
Sandra just sees the writing on the wall when it comes down to it. You know, we're obviously setting up for future bad stuff. Yes, Mike the Slime is who she's referring to. So, you know, I can't necessarily point out a particular moment that said, yes, this is what's pinning this on the wall, but kind of reading the landscape, seeing how this person acts, seeing how that person acts. You can kind of see down the line how these two behaviors might come together in a troubling way. Oh, you've caught my attention because I learned this thing about you.
No, I have leverage.
Now I have leverage. Now maybe even I have a goal. Oh, nobody has yet? Well, then it's going to be me. You know, any sort of crazy nonsense.
That guy ain't no good. And I hope Naomi nails him to the wall.
Well, she took the case, didn't she?
She did.
She did. She's like, hey,
And she-
I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And you know what? She all this good education she got from her father because she and Naomi and Bill used to be thick as thieves, and she wanted to be a lawyer just like as she looked up to her father. She aspired to be like him. But now she has seen the side of him that she does not aspire to be.
No, not at all. She's like, okay, well, I
But
got to
she
do
still
something about
has
this.
all the knowledge that he taught her.
Yeah. He's gonna be sued by himself. Oh no, how do I beat me? I'm taught her all my tricks. I'm a fool.
Exactly.
He's not
How do
Ric
I-
Flair. I taught you everything you know, but not everything I know. No.
And the blood is not rushing from his daughter's head all the time and entering to another part of his body where her body would make her not think clearly.
Exactly, because he's.
Like that.
Oh boy. The Good Old Boys Network in 2025 is nastier than years before, says Sandra, and it probably is. And the reason why it's nastier is because it's like in our faces now. Which just makes it super slimy, because not only are they doing it, but they're doing it and we know that they're doing it. It's
And
nasty.
unfortunately, people don't care as much as they used to.
I mean, but they get wrapped up in it's funny because the internet makes you feel like you're a part of something. Like television and soaps and all of that. Like the reason why we care so much about our soaps is because we feel like we're a part of it. We feel like we live in Port Charles or in Washington D.C. or in Salem or something, because
It's kind of almost like sports in a way.
yeah,
Especially when if you hear fellas in a circle talking about football, the way they talk about football as if they're on the team.
yeah,
They
like they're
say,
playing.
we did that, or we did that, or we traded our best, or we played this. Oh, it's like they're on the team. Exactly. Well, and I crack up every time I hear fellas talk like that too, because your hand has not touched a pig's skin in 40 years. You don't belong to a team.
You don't work for them. They do not pay you. You actually give them money. What are you doing?
What?
But we've also kind of had that sports mentality now tied into our own political
Yeah.
looking, and there's no way kind of to avoid talking about this given the content of Beyond the Gates. You have to connect the real world out there with what it is that we're being presented for entertainment.
A little bit.
A little bit. So there's this sports mentality now that's kind of attached in politics before. I can't say because I wasn't alive in the 60s or 70s. I did not vote in the 80s or 90s. So I really can't say specifically what it was like back then when it came to, well, I'm giving my vote to Bill Clinton over Ross Perot. I don't know what that was like. But I do know what it's like now, and it's very sports heavy. It's very like, well, since I voted for this person, I am this person. I voted for who the president is, and now I'm very emboldened by who the president is because I put him there. Ah, me. It's really me. I'm actually standing next to him, hopping up and down on stage. Like, it's me. That's not what it is. That's not how it really goes. But boom. You see yourself in it. That's why you're passionate for it. And that's why the Good Old Boys Network continues to thrive and persist, is because, well, Mike's making me money. Mike has his little peon fan base, people who wish they were him, people who have contributed to Mike's success so they feel like a success. It's big. It's big when you're in that upper echelon to kind of have to take one step away from the boys network.
Yeah.
Because now what if the other boys turn against me now? I've
Yeah.
ousted one, and now they're going to oust me next. Now they're going to stop protecting me from all my isht. It's real complicated.
It's real unnecessary, but at the same time, it's complicated.
But you know, when exaggerated for TV, it sure is fun. Especially when you get to see them fall, right? Because that's what we're leading to. We're leading to the Mike fall. Mike is going to be the first character that gets carted off to jail, and we don't see him. You know, the first one to be done. So
And
that's
Naomi, I think Naomi's going to get a big old win on this. And, I don't know. Her father will either dig his heels in to just being the Bill Hamilton that we don't care for right now, or he's going to maybe have a conscience and a beam of light.
he'll have a fake beam of light. In my opinion, this is what I think. I think that he's going to try to run interference until he realizes he can't, and then he's going to turn on Mike, but it's to protect himself.
Sure.
Naomi, yeah, I'll testify, but you got to sign this, you got to do that, you got to do some sort of maneuver, or I'm giving you some sort of maneuver to give you your path to your victory, but it's going to keep me away from the fallout that he faces.
Right.
And it's going to be tough. Oh, is this right? Is this wrong? I'm kind of going after my dad. Do I have him fall too? It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard.
Maybe Bill should have been the politician and Martin should have been the lawyer.
Maybe that's how it's going to look, in a few weeks' time. We're like, you guys got the wrong jobs. You guys got the wrong
Just the
jobs.
wrong generation there.
Just trade what it is that you're doing. I mean, we're several weeks away from the new Martin, and you found out some information about that situation, or the new Ted, I should say, not Martin.
Yeah, and who knows? It could very well be.
We're not back there. Don't come here for the news.
It could be hogwash, and maybe you guys read something about this too, because if I found it, you sure can, because I don't dig very hard. So perhaps the actor that plays Ted didn't get along very well with the actress that plays Nicole, Daphne. That's what I hear. And I don't recall what his name is, sweetheart, the guy that plays Ted.
I don't know either.
That he doesn't get along with Daphne that plays Nicole very much. And they're not gelling. And he decided to ex-nay from the Atlante.
Or they decided to ex-nay him from Atlante.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard famous rivalries, backstage and stuff, things that didn't work out. I mean, Shannon Doherty is one that comes up a lot when it comes to trouble backstage. Like, she became kind of known for it. She left 902.
Heigl too. Katherine Heigl too.
Yeah, so she left Grey's Anatomy because she was challenging. Shannon Doherty, I think, left 90210 and Charmed. Charmed's thing was very much a her or me situation, and they went her for whatever reason, and I don't know, but it was like Shannon Doherty versus Alyssa Milano for those who have references for those two actresses. They were on a show together, didn't get along, and Shannon Doherty ultimately, we'll call it lost, quote unquote, that battle with leaving the show, leaving Charmed.
Maybe that wasn't the only relationship that was not great.
Possibly, I don't know. We're not back there. We don't know these people.
Don't know.
We'll see. Maybe I'll ask Fido. We'll see if he gives me the skinny.
And we also don't know when his last air date is.
No. It's just gonna. I imagine one day we're gonna get that classic. Hire me for this, folks. If you haven't recorded it yet, the role of Ted will now be played by.
Exactly.
We talked about it a bunch last week. I just can't recall what it is. I might have written it down because he was not in Hairspray. I remember talking about that. Oh, the person who plays him now is Maurice Johnson.
Right.
Being replaced by Keith D. Robinson. Look at me relying on my notes from last week. Go me, go team Matt. I've earned the last name Hamilton this week because of my painstaking research. Liz says that and this is funny because you sort of mentioned this before we got started about Grandma Lou not understanding exactly what everybody is saying at all times.
Yes.
Because Liz says, I feel like the dialogue is a little young for me.
The dialogue is a little young for the classic soap opera viewer.
Yeah, so if you're...
Yeah.
It's not the same... It's more real. It's more realistic. It's more true to life. It's how people usually talk. It's less loaded with exposition. I even feel like they use a wider variety of pronouns. It's not constantly Anita this, Anita that, Anita this, and Anita that. So that's different. I think what Beyond the Gates. I'm thinking here. I don't know. I'm doing it in real time, folks. I don't know these people. I'm not going to say that anymore. You just know this at this point. I feel like they're trying to trust their audience a smidgen more than the rest of the soaps, because the soaps are very much still structured with, you're not watching this all 5 days.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're trying to appeal to the average soap opera audience, which is the average soap opera audience is somewhere between the ages of 50 and 70.
Yeah. I feel like they are trying to grasp at a younger, more lively, maybe longer opportunity to have them audience.
Right.
And it's good because if you hook them when you're young, because that's what happened to us, right? Like you liked it when you were younger. The people in the chat constantly talk about how they'd rush home from high school to watch it, and Bo and Hope and all of this stuff from the 80s that really captured their attention, and they're still watching it today. They've given it to their kids. The family knows that they're the soap lover of the group and all that sort of stuff. And if we can achieve that with a new generation for Beyond the Gates, then that is a goal realized.
Yes. And I actually, yes. So my mother-in-law, who is 2 weeks away from being old, she's kind of on the fence on whether or not she's going to stay with the Gates. She's kind of on the fence there. But the slang they use, she does not understand the slang. And very often I will pause it and I will tell her that is what this means. Now, at the same time, if they're going to use slang at all, no, I don't think it should be far out and groovy.
No, not at all.
Something pertinent to today.
Yes.
Or don't use slang at all.
But the trick is though, because like the younger people know when it's not written by somebody who understands it. You know, it's when it's an adult trying to capture the voice of the youth. You know what I mean? So it's a difficult tightrope to walk because you got to get it just right. There's this narrow keyhole, small target for you to hit where it's authentic and not just like, I'm rizzed out, Twister, you know, like.
That's sus. Well,
yeah, exactly.
What sus means?
No, not a lot of people know what it means. And then also, though, it's got to be authentic. And I know that it's hard for me to define that. Because if you have some person in high school say, oh, well, that's sus. Even my little niece, who's not even, it's first grade, kindergarten, I don't even know. Well, that's sus. That's sus. Like it comes out. It's a normal way. But when you translate it to television, it still has to, like, the actor has to believe that their character would say this in this moment.
And
Otherwise, they're reciting a
I
lot.
think in a character like that and like Chelsea
Mm-hmm.
would use that kind of
I,
slang.
I think Samantha and Tyrell definitely
Oh,
are of the
definitely. They're high
age.
school.
Yes, yeah, and yeah. The language is a little bit different. The kids don't sound like adults. The adults don't speak in such expository, specific ways. I would also say that there's like gosh, I'm really getting into like the science of writing here, folks. There's a phrase for it. It's like elevated realistic way of speaking, where General Hospital, for example, they don't talk the way that people do. It's elevated. It's story dialogue, but it's still within the realm of not Shakespeare. Like
Right.
the prose isn't so poetic that it's inaccessible and this is art. This is people talking. They're just talking in a way that people don't normally do because they're pushing along the story or a character trait or something like that. Beyond the Gates is not doing that.
Yeah.
It's much more authentic. So that's interesting. That's interesting. It's fun for me, folks. I gotta say, I gotta be honest with you. The plot is the plot is the plot. It's been moving along. We know what's going on, but not a whole lot has changed since episode 1. Everybody's still in the same roles that they were. We still have the same secrets. So we're moving along. Things are progressing, but it hasn't been anything new yet.
No, nothing. But no, not really, except for those, the stories that they open the store with. They did story with, open the show with.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't really moved along all that much, but they have to give us, and this is what I think they're doing right now. They have to let us learn what the characters are.
Oh yeah, totally. It's not.
Yeah.
I wasn't given a harsh criticism.
Right. They're trying to push the individuals and what they're about more than the story right now. Because if we don't learn about the characters and have some kind of opinion of them,
Yeah.
we're not going to care so much about what happens
Yeah,
to them.
we're not going to be like, oh man, I can't believe you betrayed this person. You've showed me how much you love them. Yeah, we got to do all those beats. We really got to learn about Doug. We really got to learn about Bill. Like we learned a little bit, like Bill. He's doing the whole Hayley thing, and now he's also kind of sort of halfway canoodling with somebody else, just showing his pattern, right? He hasn't changed. Haley got wrapped up in it.
This is what I think happens with Bill. I think Bill is trying to be smooth most of the time, trying to make people feel better for his agenda. But very often, if a woman responds to him in a way that, hey, I might have a chance,
He's going to try to take it.
he's going to try to take it. But I think the way he handles women kind of is the same.
I can see that. I can
But
see
he
that.
looks for a crack or an opportunity.
Right. He's like, well, I've got my wife and I've got this person.
If he has one, he goes ahead and goes down that alley. But if they don't show him that opportunity,
It's probably been really helpful for him during his career as well.
oh, I think so.
Schmooze
think
this person, maybe even.
I think he smoozes women pretty well, and I think he good old boys really well too.
And then he like sleeps with the wife of the good old boy.
He is,
And it's just
Bill
trouble.
Hamilton is not a good guy. He's a terrible man. And the fact that Dani is just waiting for him to return home and love me again makes me want to vomit a little bit. Girl.
I changed my name. I don't want to be Hamilton anymore.
Well, good.
Sandra agrees. It's still early, and yeah, I think that you're totally right. We're learning more about the people rather than the plot, and then the plot will come because we know the people. I wasn't trying to be like, well, this is bad. They shouldn't be doing this. I'm saying that it presents a fun opportunity for me because we don't have a lot of narrative momentum. We have a lot of character momentum, so it's a lot of fun for me to sit here in my amateur's chair and just speculate and think about what it is that they're trying to do and what it is that they're establishing, and really trying to find, I don't want to say box, but I'm gonna trying to find what box the characters fit in, how it's all connected together, what it is that might be brewing on the sidelines. I find that to be super fun. I really enjoy it, and I can't help myself from thinking about it. So that's really where a lot of the fun from Beyond the Gates is getting for me right now, is that early energy, trying to decode their blueprint and figure out
Yes.
what it is that they're constructing for us. That's been super fun. And what feeds into that is the repeated moments, honestly, because at this point now we've had the repetitious conversation of Martin's secret.
Yes.
It's come up.
And I even wonder, does Martin even know what his secret is?
Maybe he's
Maybe he
suppressed
doesn't
it.
even know what his secret is because he has these nightmares that he doesn't recall. He doesn't recall what the nightmare is. He just knows that he has them. And it's absolutely petrifying for him. And that kind of makes him wake up almost in a panic attack.
Maybe.
He doesn't know. So maybe the big, deep, dark secret, because, if he has this big, dark secret, this negativity looming over him that he doesn't recall, that would kind of explain why he has aspirations about being the president and doesn't really understand why he doesn't qualify.
Well, you're like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Any sort of
Exactly.
maybe the whatever it is, I can handle it, is because he can't remember what the thing is.
Perhaps.
Yeah, because he's thinking about, oh, well, that time I stole those shoes when I was 15. Like, come on, man, nobody's gonna. I mean, we Brett Kavanaugh made it through. Okay, I'll be fine. I'm
I'm
fine.
surprised if Smitty even knows what it is and Martin doesn't.
I feel like if Smitty knew what it was, though, he'd be a little more sympathetic to what Martin's going through.
Maybe, but Smitty is damn pissed off though because he's now found out that he's had career opportunities that Martin has just not passed on to him.
Martin is making sure that people stay in their place. I don't know.
Control, Smitty.
Yeah. It has to be all. Listen, folks. Listen.
It's
We're
almost
just.
like he wants to say, "Don't you want to go bake some cookies or something?"
Yeah. Don't you have something to clean, honey?
Exactly. What the heck?
Liz agrees that Martin probably doesn't know.
I'm thinking that too.
This has been suppressed. Whoever he killed or ran over by a car or
It's a
whatever
big,
it was.
but
It has to be
Grandpa
murder.
Vernon and Grandma Anita know what it is.
Well, that's because they made it go away.
They made it go away. Yes.
And Sandra says, I can't be the only one who's trying to sort out who's and how they fit in the big story. And you're not, Sandra, because I'm doing that too. I'm sure there's millions of people out there who are just sitting there. I mean, we don't have coffee cooler chats anymore, but I'm sure there's plenty of corners of the internet message boards that still exist. What are those Twitter live things? Those Twitter Spaces. There's even on over on X and Twitter and Blue Sky and stuff. You can create private lists of just your followers that you like the most, where the tweets are only and messages are only visible between the lot of you. So I'm sure it's happening all over. Liz also thinks that Bill knows. And if Bill knows, then Ted has to know, because Bill and Ted, they're a unit. Okay? You can't separate Bill and Ted.
You can't. But Bill is the kind of individual that he put something in his suit pocket, in his inner suit pocket. Save it for later.
What was that? What'd you say? I'll remember when I need to.
And Bill's the kind of person too, as far as his women thing goes, he has to have a conquest going. And
Yes.
he doesn't currently have a conquest.
No, he conquested the conquest.
Conquest is a conquest.
Yeah.
His conquest will be doubling back to Dani now.
Being like, okay, so now we got to work together. Danny's not going to be for that.
Dani right now, and unfortunately, our Dani girl is stupid as a rock when it comes to Bill. She is. She's like, oh, I can't help. I love that wicked man. And then, of course, she's clouding all her judgment in the vodka bottle as well.
Yeah, she's not going to make good choices.
Now her daddy got an idea too, because he took a little swig out of her juice the other day at breakfast and went,
That's right. They made a big deal. It was like, here's Vernon drinking the juice, folks, all right? We are not missing this moment. He is the only person in frame. This isn't off to the side.
Yes.
That was like us grabbing their face and being like, look what he's doing.
Yeah.
Look.
So he knows that Dani's got a.
Well, he's going to have to make that go away as well. He'll have to intercede. He'll have to move. He'll have to do something to prevent her from being more of a public problem for the Duprees.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that how he got Vernon to the wedding? I think so. I think you're right, Liz. I think that he threatened to reveal the secret if you didn't come
Yes.
to the wedding, and they showed up dressed for a funeral.
Yes. Had his
So
little-
yeah, the secret is going to be our first big revelation of the series,
I think so too.
which is the Martin actually accidentally killed the vice president or something.
It's going to be something big.
I want it to be something politically centered because, of course, and I want it to be something that I don't know, like maybe something like this. I don't know if I'm getting too prime time in my thought patterns here, but I want it to be like Martin knew somebody was in Vernon's way, and he went extreme about the problem. Cleared the pathway for Vernon for whatever success he had.
Maybe he went somewhat extreme, and then it took a right turn that he didn't really want to happen.
Yeah, maybe.
Too late to maneuver.
But I think it would be interesting for him to have made whatever this choice is because he was trying to help Grandpa Vernon that I love so much.
And he aspires, and Martin really aspires to be Grandpa Vernon. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of respect and a lot of love to his grandfather.
And so he does this thing. Vernon benefits from it, but Vernon also has to make it go away for twofold. One, because he benefited from it, and two, because Martin did it. And which kind of ropes Vernon into it a little bit more deeply than just, I'm protecting my grandkid.
But we also know that Grandma Anita knows all about this.
It was probably, like I keep saying week after week, I am convinced at this point that whatever they did to make it go away was because Anita said, this is what you need to do. It's
so.
like my Grandma Gloria moment from when she walked into the Quartermain living room a couple of weeks ago on General Hospital. She was like, oh, you're talking about the kid? All right, so I told her. Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's what I think. That's what I want. That's what I hope for. So hopefully eventually when we find out what it is, it's going to be
And
good.
you know, it's interesting too. I'm jumping off of that. But it's interesting too how we see Anita longing for her old days.
She's looking, she's dreaming, she's remembering.
Yeah, she's dreaming and remembering. Anita kind of like, and misses being that on that stage, having, it misses that kind of expression. Where Dani is going through the same thing with modeling. She misses that so much and was living through it, her daughter, living it through her daughter.
Maybe they can be like the Judds.
Well,
Modeling and singing.
no reason for Anita not to be able to sing, and there really isn't no reason
Here's
for
what
her
I would do.
to model.
Here's what I would do. And maybe they will, because the show is sort of, for I don't want to say a new generation, because I don't want to make it seem like the classic soap viewers, as we call them today, or people who have dedicated a long portion of their lives to watching this and being dedicated to the shows that have survived. I don't want to say anything that diminishes that, because that's stronger than whatever it is that Beyond the Gates is doing. Because Beyond the Gates is 1, and Beyond Bold and Beautiful, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives in General Hospital is 4. So there's strength there that Beyond the Gates doesn't necessarily have, and if we can use our own viewership as a barometer, then it's gonna sag and soar and until who is dedicated is gonna stick around.
Yep.
Good stuff. I keep on getting too long-winded to my point, and then I forget my point. I've done it 3 times now today. Every show.
Good, honey. You tired?
Every show. I'm mentally spent. It's been a really long week for me.
Yeah.
Just from personal life. So, anyway, back to it. I was going to make some sort of point about something, and I know, folks, it was profound and correct and right, and would make you move through the week going, "Wow, what a mind!" But well, whatever. I never see Doug at the hospital because he's busy gambling.
I know that cracked me up when Nicole's. I'm surprised we don't run into each other more at the hospital. Doug kind of spin it as, well, you're in psychiatry, and I'm in cardiac.
Yeah, so we don't cross paths. But really, I just show up and visit one patient, and then I go gamble, and then I come back for another patient, and then I go gamble,
Yeah.
and then I do another patient, and then my day's over because I'm a doctor, and then I go and I gamble some more. I really don't know what my wife is doing, but I'm sure she's fine,
Yeah. Which I'm sure it is.
and she is because you're too busy to pay attention.
Yeah.
And
And
I went.
whenever they show Doug and Vanessa together, Doug looks preoccupied with his gambling.
Yes.
And Vanessa looks like she can't wait for it to be over as well because she wants to go canoodle with somebody.
And again, this is that upper echelon of like people who have money type of thing. Because again, I've never experienced that. Please give me yours. You can make a donation to the chat just right now. Click the button and give me some of your money. She when you're in that level, like the Bill and Hillary, like at a certain point, it's difficult to separate because so much of your success, your livelihood, and the lifestyle that you've known is tied into this other person. That even if the heart's not there anymore, they've both fallen out of in love with one another. It's not like Doug is going to put down his poker chips and be like, you know who I miss. It's not going to work out that way. Like it's done. It's been done for so long, but they're still together because that's what they need in order for life to continue.
Now, are we gonna pop up with a really messed up offspring of Doug and Vanessa? Maybe.
The kid we haven't met yet.
Yeah, a kid we haven't met. Yeah, that would be one screwed up individual right there.
Lay it down for us, Chad, if we've forgotten anything about the history of Doug and Vanessa, because there are tertiary characters. We'll say tertiary is third. You've got your Duprees who are first, Dupree / Hamilton, all of that. The Bill, Hayley, Anita, Vernon. Even Martin and Smitty, I would consider first tier.
Sure.
Then you get into your second tier, which I would consider Leslie, Eva, Kat, Ted. That sort of. I mean, they're prominent, but I would say that if you're turning on the show, you expect to see the Duprees. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm turning on the show. One of the first faces I expect to look at is going to be Anita Dupree, or Dani, or Bill, or Hayley. You're not necessarily turning it on going, oh, Ted's first today.
Right.
So that would make them. That's why.
And most Ted's scenes that we see Ted, he's either talking to his wife Nicole or he's talking to Eva.
Exactly. So that makes him,
So, and my gosh, he's such a father figure to Eva already, isn't he?
It's going to be so good. Like, really, I think that the best work that they're doing is that story.
Yeah?
The first story, like I was just breaking it down. First, second, third. First story is very soapy. It's what you would expect. Of course, it's going to be the top one. It's the translation of the young chatter into a story or a plot or a beat or a rhythm that you're used to watching on your daytime shows. But I think the really strong work that's really going to flourish down the line and make some really compelling and interesting characters with some heartbreaking moments and reasons to cry and all that is going to come a lot from Ted and Eva and Kat and Leslie and all of that's going on in that corner of the show. And then you've got your third corner, which is the Doug, Vanessa, Joey Armstrong, gambling stuff. Because it's there, but it's not as intrinsically connected to the main core of the rest of your cast. They have twins in college, says Liz.
Oh.
Talking about Doug and Vanessa.
Oh.
So yeah, those messed up twins are going to show up at some point.
Oh, I can't wait.
You know why they're messed up? You know why they're going to show up? Because they're twins.
Yeah.
You don't give a soap character twin children unless one of them is good and the other one is just freaking terrible.
Pretty much, huh?
You can't. Folks, there are some tropes out there that you just cannot flip on your head. Okay, there's some tropes, there's some expectations from the audience out there that you just can't not give them. And when it comes down to it, you got twins. One's good and one's bad. Happens all the time.
I wonder if Vanessa's always had hot pants. Or she just got hot pants after her husband quit coming home after work. When did she develop hot pants?
I feel like Hot Pants Vanessa came from the fracture. She
I
was
think so.
born from his addiction to gambling, and she picked up an addiction of her own. And it's bodybuilders and gardeners.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness. On that same token of like language and accessibility and stories and what you're used to seeing and the rhythms that you hit and what's classic versus what they're trying to bring that's new. Honestly, Samantha and Tyrell's little story, already, after just a couple of days, even if just one day, I already believe it so much more than Esme filming Cameron and Jocelyn together. Like, not to just, make the comparison, but I'm gonna. Because, that's the inappropriate, young, exploratory, exploitive story that we had recently, at least that we cover on this show. Because we don't talk about Bold and the Beautiful or Young and the Restless, so I don't know what happens there. And I don't think they have any kids on those shows. Regardless. The whole Esme films Cameron and Jocelyn thing, totally over the top and unrealistic, and shut up everybody and just enjoy the melodramatic nonsense of what it is that General Hospital is doing right now. And then you whittle it down and spin it into Tyrell and Samantha. And I'm getting, like, legitimacy and realness. And I don't know, I just believe it a little bit more. Like, this is not something for me to go, yeah, guys, just enjoy it. And more like, this is a problem for them.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm being clear.
Their son being in high school and being bullied. Yeah, I could see that completely.
Yeah. Liz agrees. Samantha and Tyrell seems more real. I think that there's a lot of reasons. They're adopted. They got gay parents. They've got political parents. Who knows? I don't know if they go to a private school or a public school, but if they go to a private school, then that's a whole thing on top of itself, because my daddy's this and your mommy's that, therefore I'm better than you. All sorts of different things that also exist in public school, but at a different level in private.
One thing that was kind of cool, I thought, is even though Tyrell is spinning a story to his dads, the dads aren't buying it.
No, of course not, because
dads know.
Yeah, because they're
the
good.
Dads know. Okay, well, that's
Martin's like, I'm good at lying, so I can tell when somebody's doing it.
Right.
And then
yeah, that's a good idea in theory, but that's theory.
and then Smitty's like, well, I know my kid, and I know you're lying.
Yeah. Exactly. But I don't, Martin and Smitty, I think they're going to have a big marital issue.
I think they have a big marital issue.
They do have a big marital issue. I think it's going to be like, it's going to be a dormant volcano opposed to an active volcano.
Eventually, Smitty's going to get to a point where he really sits down Martin, and I think this might be the actual line that Beyond the Gates uses, because they go there. Okay? Like Degrassi did. Degrassi went there. So is Beyond the Gates. He might actually sit it down. We could get the first daytime bleep of all time. Martin, what the bleep are you doing? Just, come on, Smitty, say it. Say it, Smitty. Say it.
We might.
Whatever your real name is. Because his last name is Smith. He's Smitty because he's a Smith. I don't remember his first name.
No, either.
Tell me what it is, folks. I always find that to be strange. If you marry somebody and you refer to them as their last name, I always find that strange. All right, Martin's married to Smitty. It's what he called him. All right. And then I know in my real life, somebody who called their husband Grimy, because his last name is Grimes. And so she just called him Grimy, because that was her little pet name. They get married. She changes her last name to Grimes and still refers to him as Grimy. And I just find that to be weird to me, because now they have the same last name. So how is it a pet name when it's also yours? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, but I think Smitty and Martin will find out what's going on with Tyrell, and it'll probably be a dramatic way of finding out. But he's going to find out, And Samantha, she's kind of in a hard place, because she doesn't want to sell out her brother, but she wants to protect him at the same time.
Yeah, like, she's kind of got to say something, otherwise this is going to get worse. I think even young people recognize, okay, this seems like a spiral. So I don't know. I mean, I'm interested, because they did a good job with the kids. They brought them downstairs. They gave them a little conversation. They showed a little bit what life was like, and now we're going into a story. Like, good work. I know who they are. I know what they mean to the people that I know a little bit better. And now I'm kind of seeing this level of family dynamics too. And I think they're the youngest ones of the whole family trees we've been looking at. So far, I think Samantha and Tyrell are the youngest ones.
Yep. They are the great-grandchildren so far.
Yes. Oh my gosh, how interesting. And oh my God, Mom, too, because this show is so new that these family trees are clean.
They kind of are, aren't they?
They're clean family trees. Okay, we do not have a bunch of cross pollination. We have the
No.
crosses. That's why these people mean something to each other, is because of whatever minor meeting of the leaves that they have.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a clean family tree, and I love to see it. I do. I gotta say. I gotta say.
I were you surprised with how Dani reacted to Chelsea's news and not wanting to be a I thought she was way more understanding than I thought she would be. I thought she'd be a little more self-centered. I think she said that she said to Chelsea what she needed to say, understood it because of her own past, and wanted to, blaze her own trail and not letting anybody stop her.
There's a couple of things. I mean, one, yes.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the kind of Dani that we want to paint, right? And again, I'm sitting here like I'm creating the show because it's 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks in, and this is the reason why they're making these narrative choices and character choices right now, is to paint these characters as a particular way, as you mentioned. So I think these are the opportunities for them to say, well, how do we really want to paint how Dani is a mother? Because we haven't really seen her be a mom. She has adult children. Like, she's in a position in her life where it's a little bit more difficult to show how good of a mom you are.
Right.
Without showing moments like this. The moments where she is more lucid about life. A little bit more understanding about the... less self-centered. Way less self-centered.
Sure, she was way less self-centered with Chelsea. I thought but at the same time, okay, she said all these things, and she reacted, I think, the way she should. I do. But at the same time, she went directly home and started crying and drinking.
So she said what she needed to say because she's a mom who knows what she should say, and and then you're right. She had this career herself. She knows what the challenges are. And she can maybe, without knowing anything that Naomi went through, as the audience, we have no idea what she went through to make her make this decision. Nothing.
Chelsea.
Yes, Chelsea. Ugh, I'll get it. I promise I'll get it. I promise. I promise you I will. Anyway, so we don't really know what Chelsea's been through. Nothing explicit. No flashbacks. No broken down admissions of this happened to me or anything like that. But who knows what she experienced? Dani would have experienced the same thing. And there's very much an entire possibility of Dani being like, I would have made this choice too when I was your age if I felt like I could. That doesn't mean that she's not really upset by it. Kind of like that duality of being a parent, which
Yeah.
I haven't experienced, but I know it's out there, where you've got your own thing, your own life, your own thoughts, feelings, dreams, hopes, all of this stuff for you. And then your kid makes a choice and you're like, okay, well, that's the choice for you. I will support you even though I have feelings.
Dani made those edgy choices for herself surrounding her modeling career, where Chelsea's making those edgy decisions about her own career to get out of
To get out of it. Yeah.
to move on to something else that she's passionate about. So Dani had that big passion toward modeling, where Chelsea's got the big passion toward designing.
Yeah. I don't
And
want to
having-
model this stuff. I want to design the stuff.
Right.
I don't want to be somebody else's mannequin. I want to put my creations, my soul onto these models. So this is what you do. This is what the show should do, okay? Because we've got Anita dreaming. We've got Chelsea with her design aspirations. And we have potentially, maybe, down the line, Dani going, well, if she's not going to do it, maybe I can get back into it and I won't be detracting from my daughter's career and success. Or she won't detract from mine.
Right.
So she gets back into it, and this is the twist, Ma. This is the thing. This is how you make it good. This is how you ramp up the tension. If you're
Okay.
ready,
I'm ready.
reality show.
A reality show within the soap opera. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
It covers the Dupree women with revitalizing and changing their careers. We get a little Kardashian, lunches at the country club, trying to do the thing. Oh, what did you just say? Oh, you can't bury that. I need you guys to argue about it for the camera. It might be interesting to explore some of that. I'm not saying for a year. I'm not even saying for 6 months. But for them to bring a camera crew in to have like somebody filming what it is that goes on at the country club for a few episodes before it burns down and the producer's like, we can't do this, or the Dupree's like, we have to back out because you're too close to the truth, or whatever it might be. I just think it might be a little interesting thing to kind of bring all of those decisions together to create a plot.
Right.
And how do we make it tense? How do we make it public? Because publicity is a big part of this thing. Like, their problems are personal, but they're also publicly personal.
They're publicly personal. Yes, they are.
So it'd just be interesting. Sandra says that it would be much better than a soap within a soap. So thanks, Sandra.
How many names is Leslie going to have by the time she is like her goose is cooked? So she's got 3 so far.
I don't know, maybe
Leslie, she's Sherry, and she's Dana.
maybe a good baker's dozen.
And so the real person is Dana, right? Is the real person Dana?
Isn't she?
That's what Ted calls her.
See, I don't know. I don't know who the real person is, and maybe that's the whole point. We don't know who Leslie is, and neither does Eva.
And Leslie don't even know who Leslie is. She's fighting with somebody. She's fighting with Ted over Eva when she led Ted to believe that she had an abortion those 22 years ago.
She's nuts.
She is nuts.
She's nuts.
Highly crazy.
She's nuts.
She is crazy.
And Anna.
Oh, and Anna, that's right. When she was trying to act like she was jumping off the roof, right? Yeah, she was Anna then. She don't even know who. She's gonna wind up mixing up her own names.
It's gonna be like Ghost when Whoopi Goldberg signs the wrong name. Adam. Oh, I can have another one. I signed the wrong name. All right, here you go.
And because of her craziness, she's going to get sloppy. She's already getting sloppy.
Yeah, and then
She has no reason to be pissed at Ted, really, because yes, okay, she was a rendezvous, maybe even a girlfriend at one time. More than likely, just a rendezvous.
A young person's not villainizing Ted like Bill is type of way, but just a.
I get the feeling too that Ted was slipping out on Nicole because Eva's not older than Martin. No way.
Oh no, not at all.
No.
Not at all. Listen, Ma, I don't even think Ted's the dad. I still don't think Ted's the dad. I think Leslie just picked him.
Yeah.
I think Leslie just picked him.
She's
wrong.
Or she's wrong, yeah. Maybe she just hoped that he is because he's the rich, affluent one, and everybody else was a scrub.
And she's just told herself over these years that it's Ted. There's no doubt it's Ted. I didn't need to go to Maury because I know. Look at the shape of her chin. All that stuff.
All that stuff.
Sandra thinks that Leslie's going to become the queen of multiple personalities. I wouldn't be surprised either because it's classic soap territory, but I think it is also fun that if Leslie's just a really good actor. Not the actress who plays Leslie, because she's great, but I mean like Leslie herself, the character, is just really good at pretending to not be herself. That is just something she does convincingly.
It's going to be a matter of time that Eva's going to realize my mom doesn't have a full deck.
She has to know it's at some level. She has to already know, and she just needs the confirming moment.
And she's already actually protected the Richardsons a little bit from her own mom.
Well, we'll see how well she's able to protect them from the party.
Oh, yeah, because Leslie she's planning on having somebody jump out of a cake even. Who knows what?
Yeah, with a banner. Ted's a dick, also, whatever it might be, right? Well, maybe Eva's younger than Marty because I call him Marty because I can't help but call a Martin a Marty. Maybe Eva's younger than Martin because she went into the phone booth time machine and stepped into the future.
Yeah, she was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure for a second.
Rufus was there. He's like, hey, I'm George Carlin. Hop in this thing. Yeah, folks, the Bill and Ted
Oh,
references are going to last until one of those two characters are not on this show anymore. I promise you. We will continue with the Bill and Ted references until I die.
and Miss Valjean. And that couldn't have been wasted on her. She knows
Oh,
Bill
she
and Ted,
knows.
everybody's going to make that connection.
She
Come
knows.
on,
She
not
knows.
everybody, but a lot of people
That's why I
would.
need Fido to come back to tell me all about Bill and Ted and the excellent adventures that they're going to go on and down the line. Or the excellent adventures they had beforehand.
And I have a feeling they are not going to be excellent. They are not going to be excellent to one another
Aw,
either.
come on. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. That's all you need for life. It's just really be excellent to each other.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
Bill and
Well, I'm
Ted, they didn't mean
looking
anybody
forward.
harm. What's
I'm
that?
really looking forward to the party.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait for the party. It's going
Oh,
to be
yeah. When sweeps? We got a May sweeps or something? March, April sweeps? What is it? we just left sweeps in February or something. I don't know. Who
I
cares?
think the next one is May typically, isn't it?
Okay. I think so too. I don't think that we're gonna have to wait until May for the party.
I don't think so.
No,
either.
I think that'll come up. That'll be a fun little corner of the show. That'll go on as something else happens. It's not gonna dominate the week.
Want to be good. It's
Yeah,
going
it's
to.
gonna be good stuff. I'm still warming up. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still in. I'm invested in Hot Pants Vanessa and her and her trophies. We'll call them her trophies. Thank you very much, Sandra. It's
And
May.
you guys, my mother-in-law, she's so sweet too. She says, "Well, you're Joey there, you know." She goes, "Well, he doesn't remind me of Kevin at all."
Well, he doesn't remind me of Kevin at all. Well,
Yeah.
he's all ominous, leaning into the car. He's like, "Listen, cheat. Take this man for all he's worth because his kid is going to be president one day, and I
Yeah.
need that.
Here's a special deck of cards.
He's
Give
the
these.
one that's going to let you win so you can continue to take everything that Doug is worth so Martin has to step in and give him money. Thank you."
Yes,
And then,
and Joey's trying to tell his other dealer too. You gave him a way out. You trying to help him. You trying to get him to step on out of here.
so
Knock it off.
he's not taking Doug for everything he's worth because Doug is worth so much that it's helping Joey. Doug is taking everything that he's worth to put Doug in such a huge problem that Martin has to step in so Joey can get Martin to do something. This is the Joey Armstrong plan.
Yes.
And he's not talking like this through the whole time, and it's still bothering me.
But
But I'll get used to it, you know?
John Lindstrom, I'm very much enjoying your Joey Armstrong. Oh, you're smarmy and I love it.
I wonder if General Hospital... See, listen, Frank Valentini's a good man. I'm sure he's not spinning in his chair and freaked out or anything. It's not like they'd been using Kevin for anything. Like, they used Ryan way more. So I wonder if this feels like John is done. I just wonder.
I wonder too.
You know? Because he's not contracted, so he doesn't have to, and he doesn't have to say anything, and he doesn't have to keep himself available, but he also doesn't have to take another job.
No.
But he did. And so I just wonder if I don't know. I'm not back there. I don't know these people. Hi, I said it again. But I just wonder if it feels like the door is closed on GH. Because it's not like... So unless Joey surprises me and he's the one that actually gets shot first, and is the one that falls off the show first, which I don't think, because I think that he's doing well enough and is friends with them who create the show enough for him to be used if the story is still there.
Sure.
And with a character like Joey Armstrong, once you're done with Doug, there's still plenty of room for you to continue to use him, depending on how it all falls out.
Sure.
So I just do wonder. I wonder if if there's a quiet closure.
Well, we'll see.
Well, GH, like, when it comes down to it, Laura can be married to Kevin, and we don't have to see Kevin.
Yeah, because we have very
We
much.
haven't, and we don't, unless they're doing something together, which was shoehorned in like crazy. They went, like, anytime Laura was going off and Kevin went with her, it's because I'm your husband, Laura.
Exactly.
Like, there was no reason.
No, they
Other
would
than I'm gonna go with
they
you.
would send Kevin off with Laura just where they would just have Kevin doing something.
Exactly. So it would explain why Kevin's not on. Well, he's in Europe with Laura looking for Nicholas.
Right.
So, Jeannie hopes not. Where is Ace? I miss Kevin. Joey looks like Ryan Chamberlain.
Yeah, because that's what, yeah, he would, of course. Yes, he would.
Oh, good times, good times. Thanks for the contributions,
Why
Jeannie.
you Ryan right now? He doesn't remind you of Kevin. Just like my mother-in-law said. Well, he doesn't remind me of Kevin at all.
And
Well,
he's not supposed to, but that's the power of John Lindstrom as well.
because he's Joey Armstrong now.
Joey Armstrong. I'm just not. I've suppressed this accent. All right, this is how I grew up on the streets. But now that I'm a big boss, I made myself more educated.
He's very like monotone, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Joey?
Oh, he is not a gangster. He's a mobster.
Yes. And mobsters have no feelings in regard.
No.
His feelings in regard are about his desire and greed for money.
But overall, it's good. Like I was saying, you get your classic offerings from the top, from story 1. Story 2, I think, has just got a lot of power in it. I really just think that the arcs that these characters are going on, Eva, Kat, Leslie, Ted, the family, all of that, I really think that that's just, it's going to make some big swings and be some really, really, really good stuff. I think they're laying down a great foundation for it.
The half sisters that don't know they're half sisters, it's great because boy, Kat thought she had Eva with the recording. She thought she had her big time, but she didn't really give Eva enough credit. She left that phone out. What did Eva do? Deleted that crap like that.
Okay.
And made Kat look like she was like reaching. Leave the poor girl alone. She's just trying to make a living and make some strides. She's just trying to be an adult. Come up. That's what she's trying to do. Mm-hmm. Eva won that round.
She sure did. Now, who knows what Kat's going to bring in return? Mm-hmm. Now that it's not just somebody that I can steamroll, but somebody I have to try against.
Exactly. And I think Eva's going to try to take a look at Tomas's pants off before Kat even has consideration as well.
Well, just those kind of pictures circulate in Washington, D.C. What can I say? So, it's going to be good. I'm invested. I'm on board. I will continue. Again, I'm continuing to give my commitment to watching Beyond the Gates. I honestly, the feeling that I get from you when we talk about these 3 shows, you are really enjoying this one. You're having a lot of fun watching it.
Well, I am enjoying it very much. I tell you, every episode of what I watch, I can't stand Ted just a little bit more. Oh my gosh, I was yelling at the screen. The last time he and Hayley were together and he's fawning over Hayley and telling her about all her attributes that don't have anything to do with anything that's on the inside of her body.
Nope.
Nothing to do with her brain, nothing to do with her intellect, nothing to do with her aspirations. It's all about all her physicality. That is it. That means that he don't love you, girl.
No.
He loves how you look naked.
Talking about Bill, by the way, not Ted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
yeah,
it's
yes,
okay.
that's the same thing you do. The Bill and Ted interchange. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Bill is a dog, and Hayley is going to open her peepers soon.
They're there.
I'm yelling at the screen. On Friday. And what about anything else about her? You talk about everything, every good thing you got to say to your young Hayley right there, you could say to a prostitute and it would apply.
Look at you, Ma. Get roped right in the way they want you to.
Oh my gosh.
That is great. Jeannie says, Jeannie puts it simply. You ready for Jeannie's simple 1-sentence way of explaining Bill Hamilton? Because he's a pig.
Exactly. That's the bottom line because I said so. Yeah, you're right, Jeannie.
Well, that's our exit code for the week, folks. We got to sneak past George again and say, you know what, then Bill Hamilton, he's a pig.
Well, that might be the passcode next week.
Mm-hmm. And then George is like, I got to go put a fire out. We didn't even talk about that jerk this week. I don't care. All right.
Yeah, he got me fired up on Friday. He did.
Yeah. Well, Jeannie, catch Friday so you can get fired up like my mama did. We skipped some people. We didn't talk about George. We didn't talk about Nurse, whatever Ashley or whatever his name is. We didn't even mention Andre in any way, shape, or form. Barely touched on Dani. But, who cares, right? There's a lot of show.
Well, my least vested part of the show is the Ashley and Derek.
Yeah, Derek, George, whatever the hell their names are.
Ashley and Derek.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not even tertiary. It's like eighth. I don't even know what stories 5 through 7 are, but I know that they're 8.
Yeah.
But that's it. We'll continue to bring you the analysis, the hot goss, the chit chat about Beyond the Gates as it continues. We're 3 weeks in. We know who they are. We have some momentum, which means that we will get to a twist probably next week.
I'm counting on it.
There has to be, because
twist through by Friday.
Right, because we had the explosive beginning. We've had the exposition and establishment, and now we got to take your expectations and turn them.
Yes.
So let's see what that looks like, huh? I'm hoping for big stuff next week. Thank you, Sandra, for coming, and thank you for promising to be back next week. All right, folks. Hey, if you enjoyed Beyond the Gates and you know people who love soaps and Beyond the Gates out there, share this with them. Send them a link. Tell them about it. Say, hey, 10th Floor is awesome. Matt and Kat, they're mother and son. It's super cute. So share that around. Like the video as well. Continue to, throw some reactions into the chat. Let's get a spike here for the very end. Just spam that heart button. Before, Sandra said that all of the money people weren't in the chat this week. So, if you are watching the replay, hit the button. Donate to the channel if you can. You don't have to, but if you can, do so. It'll help us get to the General Hospital Fan Club weekend coming in the next couple of months. So that'll be super fun. Help us. Anyway, that's it. Like the video if you had a good time. Subscribe to the channel if you want some more. I don't have an extended outro for this one, so don't let the gates hit you on the butt on the way out. I've been Matt.
I've been Kat.
And we'll see you next week, 9 a.m. Days of Our Lives, 11 a.m. 10th Floor Podcast, and 1:30 p.m. once again right here for Beyond the Gates Unlocked. Goodbye.
Bye, you guys. Have a good evening.
Day.